Welcome to Chilling with c.bo, guys. I am your host, c.bo, and I'm here with two people today. My usual co-host, Juan and only. Juan, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Hey, you want to see a magic trick? Baboosh. Babushka. Yo. For those of you who can't see it on the podcast, I'm currently changing between 6 different backgrounds that Skype has to offer.
Nice.
It's fun.
What about you, Pedro? How you doing, man?
Doing well. Looking for them substitute teaching jobs.
Nice. Hope you find something sooner rather than later.
How's the
Thank
week
you.
going?
Blessings to all you and your families.
What'd you say?
It's a blessing to all yous and your families.
No, I was talking to Juan. Sorry, but thank you though.
How's the week been going for you, man?
Week's been going pretty good. My work week is pretty much ended, so now I got a couple days off.
How are you spending?
How do I spend them? Doing various things, but hopefully I spend them more productively this time around.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Oh man, dude, I think what's really been kind of getting most of my attention has been fantasy football this past couple of days.
Fantasy football is the wave, definitely.
You and I are in a league together.
Yes.
And you snagged 2 MVP caliber quarterbacks for both your teams, playing them, and they've just been kicking all sorts of butt for you this whole time. You got Josh Allen and Kyler Murray. It's like, wow, man, wow.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it stays this way the whole season. You never know. I could fall down a cliff next week and never come back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to jinx you this whole time.
How many leagues are you in, Juan? You said you're in a lot of leagues, right?
I'm in 6.
Oh my god.
I won only 2 games on the first week, and then I won 4 games this week. So 2-0 in 2 leagues, 1-0 in 2, 1-1 in 2 other leagues, and 0-2 in 2 other leagues.
All right. How do you keep up with all that?
I'm a football obsessive, you know that.
Oh man, all right.
Really like the career and life I want to live, and it's been just such a joy, man. Like I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
And you know,
yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Speaking of obsession, we saw a movie this week that really spoke to the current human condition right now when it comes to technology, media, and the whole algorithm stuff. And we saw The Social Dilemma. Now, this documentary, I want to say this was a great recommendation, and it kind of especially during these times as well, when we're, even though, people can go out more now, but the past 6 months, we couldn't go anywhere, and we were just stuck at home, glued to our technology. And yeah, and when I was watching this, I'm like, I knew this was all true. Everything they were saying, I knew this was happening, but to see it to that extent and to see it being played out where how social media and media, just media in general, and the algorithms that that we continually contribute to just makes us so addicted and so entranced into with the technology we have today, that we're just so different from the people we were 20 years ago, and it's insane, and it's made us and it's just divided us. Like they said in the documentary, it's not all doom and gloom. There's good stuff about technology and social media and all that, but there's also a lot of bad things and a lot of flawed things where it's we need to hold the corporations who are doing this accountable. What do you guys think?
Can I go first?
Yeah, of course.
First of all, I agree. It's not these corporations are responsible for a lot of bad shit that's going on.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Their algorithms have caused and influenced people to become so stupid.
Yeah.
It is beyond redeemable for this to have happened. All right? First, they say that Russia was able to influence the election with political ads that they used through Facebook and others, and the whole showing of white supremacists and all these riots causing people to join the cause. It's like we as a people are so easily influenced by radical beliefs, and social media is pushing us closer and closer to the edge of oblivion. It's gotten to the point where I think that I might just delete my Instagram and Facebook accounts.
That bad, Pedro? You really willing to delete your social media?
I don't want some kind of computer to think it knows me so well that it's gonna send all these ads at me.
To be fair, it's already too late, man.
I know. And I don't want
even if you're not on social media, it's already influenced you. Like,
I know.
Freaking Pete Campbell is on the other side influencing you.
This was
I know.
This was a wake-up call for me. Like, all of my thoughts that I had about social media were on this documentary. Like, why people still support Donald Trump? Because they're not getting all the other material that shows his malevolence. It's insane. This algorithm is just used to make profits and to gather monetary value from the human condition. And that's terrifying, because what if this AI evolves to the point where human thought's no longer necessary, or we don't even need phones? It just goes directly into our brains and they hack our own thoughts. I know it's the conspiracy theory talking, but with the way
you're gonna end up like that kid going that kid, yeah.
Yeah, with the way that they showed how technology has progressed farther than any other thing, like cars or television or anything else, it might just get to that point, or we'll have to actually get surgery to get access to social media.
What are you, Juan?
Pedro, you need to stop with the whole Alex Jones conspiracy thinking. Okay. Look, yes, technology has been. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. What it's contributed versus what it has caused. Okay, there's good sides to it, and there's bad sides to it. Absolutely. Are all of us addicted to using technology? Absolutely. Willing to bet that all of us are on our phone while we're doing this Skype call right now. Like the alerts and texts and tweets that we get all the time, we're always going to be checking it because, we want the attention and we want to be able to see what's going on in the world around us, because what if we're missing out on something? What if we're like getting this bit of news much later than everyone else and we feel left out of the circle? Like that's the whole point. Like, technology has created a culture for the need of attention, for the need of belonging, and for the need of self-importance.
Yeah.
And I agree that there has to be more ethical practice when it comes to software engineers modifying their apps in order to gain an audience. I agree that services like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter have to try to format themselves to be less addictive and more contributive to the human psyche and the human condition. Like the movie, it showed a scary statistic about about young girls, that suicide rates have tripled among girls 10 to 13, preteens, young girls. Like their suicide rates between the 2010 and now have gone up, I think, 128%. And for teenagers 15, 19 in a similar demographic has gone up 59%. So social media has been a breeding ground for image dysmorphia and self-consciousness that a lot of people are impressionable to.
Yeah.
And that's one part of it. But the other part of it is that social media has been beneficial in connecting people, in creating communities for people who just don't feel like they belong in the real world. Like, Peter, your Pokemon Go community. Do you feel like you have friends in that community that you communicate to on the regular?
Yes.
And c.bo, you have your what's the name of that animated video game that you play?
Persona 5.
Like, tell me that there's probably like a chat group that you belong to.
I follow the subreddit. Yes.
Exactly, and that's a community that you get along with, and that you say that you have a good amount of interactions with.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of those memes, and I just laugh along with it. I'm like, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And exactly, like the internet and social media has given us the platform to share, similar ideas and have creative and engaging conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
What I'm trying to get to the point is that technology will always evolve. It's how we use it that makes a difference in the world that we live in today.
Yeah.
All right, there are parts of the world that are using it for evil, like North Korea, like China, like a lot of countries with very very dictator authoritarian regimes, like
That
Brazil,
one country they talked about, Myanmar. Yeah.
Myanmar, Brazil, China, like all these places are using social media to take advantage. But then here, like in places like the U.S., where technology is kind of like a mixed bag, where it's dividing people as much as it's uniting them.
Yeah.
Like, people, you can't change how people think. The algorithm makes it so that it tailors itself to what it thinks you'll like and keep you there. But you have to be able to think for yourself. All right? Just because you see an ad for a gun doesn't mean you want to be a gun owner. Just because you see an ad about Donald Trump saying that Hillary Clinton is a lizard person doesn't mean that's what you think. All right? You don't have to be impressionable. You have to read beyond the headlines, watch beyond the thumbnail, and learn and see what these people are presenting, and then make the judgment for yourself whether or not that's what you want to believe in. It's all about self-control.
Yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of people are impressionable and do not have self-control nowadays, and will believe anything they see or hear on social media. And if they keep, clicking on the thing they like the conspiracy theories and stuff like that, they'll just get the stuff. They'll just see that stuff. The only thing they'll see is that stuff. Yeah, which is, that's the thing. Yeah. What was it? I was just about to say, the kids and that dramatization aspect of the it's just crazy, because we're all in our mid-20s, and when they said when social media was starting to hit and starting to reach its peak in 2010, I remember those times in high school when social media was starting to just grow, and everyone was using it. And does that kind of take you back to high school, where when Facebook and was just starting to just get huge, and everybody was on it, and if you weren't on it, you were kind of like a ghost, it kind of took me back to that time. Yeah. And it's just yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll let Pedro answer that one first.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
No, I was just saying, I remember being a kid in high school, and they were talking about how social media was just starting to just blow up into exponentially around 2010, when we were in high school, and through the rest of high school it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm sure since we left high school it's gotten even bigger, and the kids below us now don't even know a world without social media, and we do know a world without social media, but it's they don't, because they're just younger.
Exactly.
Being very cynical about social media when I was younger. I remember, making fun of people, in my mind at least, that had MySpace accounts. And I was just like, what's the point of a MySpace account? It's useless. It doesn't do anything or provide anyone a service. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to join Facebook, because it was kind of like the opposite of MySpace in regards to popularity.
And then it got super popular.
Yeah, no, and then I joined it, and I became the very thing that I mocked against MySpace users. I became a profile that was addicted to posting updates and pictures and liking stuff and trying to say stuff that would get people's attention,
Well, you either die the hero
or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
and Juan became the villain.
I didn't die like Tupac. I became Ice Cube.
Damn. What about you, Pedro? What were your thoughts of when social media started exponentially growing when we were about in high school.
To be honest with you, I never really paid attention to social media. Just kind of ignored it until actually college. When I already had Facebook at the time, but that was all I had. I didn't have Instagram or Twitter or any of the other things until college. And by that time, it was really just to hone my skills as a social media coordinator when I was working to be one.
Okay.
And then I found out the importance that social media has. It's not just about likes; it's about information. Information is key. It's power. It's money. Like, I didn't know the importance of social media until I got to college. So I was really ignorant about it.
Yeah.
All throughout its progression, I literally phased it out until college. And to see this documentary is just as eye-opening. It's like, how could I have not known this? It was happening right in front of me.
And by the actor Pete Campbell too.
Yeah, perfect role for him. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm like, for a couple minutes, I'm like, who is he? Who is he? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's him. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the actor Pete Campbell from Mad Men is in this movie, and he plays the guy. He plays the personification of the algorithm.
Yeah, dude, the algorithm is just like, I never thought I would see the algorithm personified, but I did.
Yeah.
And it's divided into 3 different people: an engagement, an advertiser, and a content pusher. And
yeah.
Wow. Like I felt like the documentary did such a great job of breaking down what social media's approach to humans are like. How AI distinguishes what you like and what it wants to present to you just by like an equation. It was astounding. And, it kind of brings us to like a question that our good friend Captain Jack has presented to us. Unfortunately, he's not here today. He couldn't join us, but I'll post it. He asked, did this documentary make you want to change your habits online and change some aspects of your digital footprint? Are you gonna maybe delete certain socials and find alternatives to things like Chrome or the Google app in general? And I want to give that to Peter first, and then c.bo, I want you to give your answer to that.
Okay.
It has made me want to change some aspects of my life, in that I feel like I'm being watched, and I want to try and use social media less, but at the same time, I'm too attached to some other things, like, for instance, Pokemon Go. I play every day, and not just because it's addicting. It's because I'm part of a community, and I want to continue being part of that community. But with stuff like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I feel like I could connect from those, but at the same time, it's probably not a good idea, because then I'd be subjected to missing information. I could be just as ignorant as I was before I got to college. So for me, it's a tough balance of wanting to stay informed, but wanting to stay away from the algorithm. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Well, for me, Juan, I work for the media industry, and I am cursed, and I don't think I can ever turn myself off from the media. In terms of like, just being I mean, in terms of that question where it made me want to change, if I want to change my habits or not. Yes, I want to use my time more wisely, definitely. We could all be using our time more wisely and being more productive, and I definitely want to do that. I definitely don't want to have just, stretches of time where I'm just looking at my phone, just scrolling, and like, instead of doing that, I should just be, editing this podcast or something and not putting it off, or doing something else that grow, more productive, and something that would what's the word, something that furthers my goals, in life instead of just being a little late. But it's like you said, Juan. It's like it's a double-edged sword. I do like being connected. I really do like seeing what the latest news is and seeing people's reaction to it and seeing what both sides think. And yeah, so yeah, I do want to change my habits. I do want to be more productive, but at the same time, I don't think I'm gonna go completely zero dark 30 and and be completely a ghost. What about you, Juan?
It's like all things in life. My answer is in the middle of using and not using. But the most important thing is acceptance. I don't have an addiction to social media, but I enjoy using it. In fact, the only social app I feel like I'm addicted to the most is YouTube, because I fall down the YouTube rabbit hole very easily. Whether it's
like Kyrie Irving.
yeah, but my rabbit hole doesn't consist of conspiracy theories and nut jobs. It's whose line is it anyway? Compilations, Family Guy compilations, and TV shows, and informative video essays from about cartoons and video games and stuff. Like stuff that wouldn't really affect the way I view the world in a major way. Just like kind of like random crap, to say the least. It's also, like you said, c.bo, like you and I are both part of the media world. Like in we work in this environment. So we've been trained to know what is fake news and what is misinformation, and filter through it and present an objective piece.
Yeah.
We've been trained to do that. So I feel like that's like a gift in and of itself, that we have that ability to sift through all the lies and all the fake news and just kind of exist in the world. Like, yes, people are watching me. I'm probably talking to an FBI person through this camera right now, and Google's
Hopefully they're enjoying the podcast.
Hi, NSA.
And Google's probably listening through my Apple speakers. And my Apple Watch is probably monitoring my heart rate to make for the CIA to see if I'm still alive. That's great. But when I try to think about how it's going to be used against me by the people by these very organizations, I'm kind of at ease, because so long as I'm not a traitor, or so long as I'm not like holding on to information that is vital to the world, there's nothing that the NSA or the CIA or the FBI can do to me that I'm afraid of. Are they going to leak nudes that are like 10 years old back when I was younger? Okay, go for it. I was young and I was stupid. Are they going to send out like conversations from all my private? First off, I come off sympathetic in that situation because you're trying to get to me. And I can defend everything about myself. The important thing is to be confident in everything that you've published online, and to be careful not to make yourself, the target of ridicule or disgust. Present yourself in a positive light through all your social media platforms, and exude positiveness and actually contribute to conversations instead of trying to be hateful and spiteful in your social media usage. If you know how to use social media for the betterment of society, you should be fine. So Google takes your information, so it knows what dress size you are, so it knows that you want maybe like an enlargement pill of some sort. That's on you, and the worst that they can do with that information is send you an ad about it. Is that really going to really affect your life, and you just ignore the ad?
No, you bring up good points.
They do. But everyone has their own sense of privacy. And I actually asked this question a couple of weeks ago to you guys. Does privacy really matter? And, some of you guys said yes. Some of you said no. Personally, my privacy is my privacy. I don't mind if the government is looking at it, because there's nothing I feel like they can use that information for.
All right. Definitely good points.
Thank you.
Yes. So, do we have anything else to say about the social dilemma or how the media affects us? Any more hot takes and anything lasting on our minds?
I think it's funny that like this documentary came out around the same time that TikTok just got bought by Oracle and Walmart to stay in the United States. Like kind of like a
Wait,
funny.
what got bought by what got bought? Sorry to say that again.
TikTok.
Oh, TikTok, yes.
So it's kind of funny how TikTok was saved by Walmart and Oracle from being banned in the U.S. And that's a social media platform that a lot of people were very worried about. You know, that's data mining and taking your information and selling it to the Chinese government and stuff. And in my mind, you know, thinking like Facebook does the same thing. This documentary, it reinforces that thinking that Facebook takes your information and sells it to advertisers to push ads onto you. And you know, just thinking of the hysteria that TikTok causes, I'm like, wow, this is the most hypocritical. This is just so hypocritical. Like, you know, you blame TikTok and we're scared.
It's because it's the new thing. That's why.
Exactly. And I was just, you know, that comparison, that juxtaposition of both apps, just that in my mind while I was watching this documentary had me laughing. I was like, oh, so it's okay when Facebook takes your information, but TikTok, oh no.
How long do you think before they're gonna go after Facebook?
They already went after Facebook.
TikTok.
It didn't work. Dude, you can't go. You know what's funny? I think like in politics, politicians don't know how to attack tech companies because they don't understand how they work.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully one day, you know, we can attack them the right way so we can hold them more accountable and make everything less addictive.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll just stick to my whose line is it anyway rabbit holes and do it yourself videos on Apple.
And some flat earth stuff too. So something is happening less than 2 months that, you know, where, you know, social media has had a big impact on as well, and that's the election. So how do you think that? Yeah. So, by the way, we're taking a week off with during election week. Yeah, because it's gonna be a shit show. So, but like, how do you think social media will play an impact on all that with the upcoming election?
Social media got people like Bolsonaro and Trump into office. So I think like social media is gonna play another big role in this year's election, and especially with outside influencers trying to like, you know, keep Trump in office. And you know, voting should be a fundamental right for everyone, regardless, for every American citizen, regardless of who you are and what you did in life. You know, everyone should have a chance to submit their say in who should lead their country. And it's kind of a shame that no one really comes out to vote. Like the percentages of people that come out to vote is often pitiful. Well, that's because like the system has it set up in a way that makes it impossible to come out to vote. Like first off, why not make election day a holiday? Why not give workers a chance to, you know, take the day off and actually go to the polls without having to find a flimsy excuse to get out of work just to go do your civic duty? It's ridiculous. And you know, like this election is probably one of the most important ones in recent American history. You know, we are in the middle of a global pandemic where we've lost countless major figures to like large major we I guess it should go by saying we like last week Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. Her seat's open now, and Trump is trying to fill it with a conservative judge. And this election is going to be just as important because, you know, they're trying to rush a justice into the seat. But if a new president is elected, it could be a progressive person selected by the next president if Trump doesn't win the re-election. You know?
Yeah.
So I think we are. This is like the time of political panic in the United States, where everything's being rushed and everything's being calculated and people don't know what to do. And the only thing we can do as a society is just vote and make sure that you're registered to vote and give your thoughts on who you think should lead this country, and from that point on, there could be there could be change coming, but only if everyone, gets together and actually votes.
Let me ask you guys: are you guys registered to vote?
Yes,
I am.
All right, cool. That's good to know. I am too, and yes, I will be voting on November 3rd. Is that November 3rd?
Yeah. It'll be fun random sports fact.
Yeah.
The NFL trade deadline is the same week of the election week.
Jesus Christ.
And the league is not allowing anyone to take the day off in order to go vote.
What was I about to say? You say how it's hard to vote nowadays, but what I applaud the NBA for is having their arenas being open for people to vote, which is really good, and they're using their platform to remind people to register to vote and to go out there on November 3rd. So applaud to the NBA. Thank you.
Yeah. The NBA has always been a model of sports progressiveness and change. It's given athletes platforms and support in order to voice their opinions on a lot of issues that are often taboo, and I'm really
especially
proud
in other leagues. Yeah.
NFL.
The NFL, I feel like it is getting better.
They finally admitted they were wrong after 40 years.
Yeah.
After the Colin Kaepernick situation, they finally owned up to it. 4 years later, it took. It still boggles my mind that they're still blackballing Kaepernick, man. I get it, he's not as talented, and you're gonna hide the excuse. He's still being blackballed, in my opinion.
Well, you have to admit, after everything he said that criticized the NFL, you really think they're gonna forgive him for that? These are people with big egos, and now that they've been proven wrong, do you really think they want to face the embarrassment of hiring back the guy that proved them wrong?
That is true.
The more time he spends out of the league, the bigger his message becomes. Yeah. The worse the NFL looks. It's a lose-lose situation. It's a win-win for Cap.
Yeah, it's counterproductive to the NFL, but
it's counterproductive now.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's counterproductive now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I know. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's no matter what happens, it's just going to look bad. Might as well sign him anyways.
Well, who are you going to send him to?
Yeah, we'll save that for the sports podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we got everything out. November 3rd, there will be no podcasts that week. Yes. So it's just so you all know.
And go tell your friends, go tell your mama, go tell your mama's mama to register to vote. It's an important year, everybody. Go vote!
Speaking of media and how it's influenced people and has made people go crazy, the PS5 has finally been unveiled, and it's revealed to be $500 with the physical disc, $400 that's with just the digital, and the pre-orders went up that day, last week, and people just went insane on social media trying to pre-order the PS5s, and I'm just like, holy crap, this is insane. This is probably the most insane thing I've ever seen, when it comes to pre-orders and stuff like that. And I'm a Nintendo fan, and Nintendo pre-orders are almost just as bad.
Raise your hand if you actually pre-ordered the PS5.
I am going to wait a year.
You're going to wait a year? Okay, why are you going to wait a year?
Because Miles Morales is coming for the PS4. That's why.
Really?
Yes.
Plus, Paul, we gotta build up some funds.
Well, it's interesting. So, the PS5, it's announced, everyone goes crazy, but there's aspects to it that a lot of gamer critics have really targeted, saying that a bunch of Nintendo devices have already been have so much better qualities than the PS5. I don't know if you read about that, c.bo.
Nah, I haven't, but
it's mainly to do with processing speed and with regards to inter-device connectivity, where the PS5 is like it was hyped up to be like this revolutionary new gaming system that hasn't been like set out since the intro of the PS4. But honestly, with gaming systems dropping like this, like, and the price going up, it kind of reminds me of like, what am I gonna do with the PS4 that I have? Like, what am I gonna do with that?
Well, apparently it is backwards compatible with PS4 games.
That's true, but then what do I do with the system itself?
You just sell it, I guess.
I don't think anyone's gonna want to buy a PS4 if the PS5's out.
There's video game collectors out there that are, you know.
But we still have our PS3 from like what 12 years ago.
Well, the thing with PS3 is like there's some games on the PS3 that just are stuck there, like, and like there's some weird technology in the PS3 that's like that like collectors find interesting, you know.
You know, when I was younger, I would always debate with my high school friends, what should I get, the PS3 or an Xbox 360? And they were always so divided by the concept. I had one friend tell me PS3, the other one tell me Xbox, and they would get into full-blown fights about it. It was just so fun to watch.
I had a 360.
What converted you to the PS?
The Xbox One was trash. That's why.
Ooh. Hear that, Microsoft?
You know,
yeah, and speaking of that, Xbox Series X pre-orders went up, and apparently it's just as bad. It went out of stock as well. Obviously, not as crazy on social media as the PS5 because it's Sony, but it's like still like it's just like it's insane how like the hype has made people have the fear of missing out, and it's gotten people to go insane to try to get them to spend $500 on a video game system that's not even gonna reach its stride yet in its first year, and like it just kind of reminds me of when I was watching The Social Dilemma. It made me think of the PS5 fiasco where and I'm just like, wow, this is just insane. Like this is the world we're living in.
FOMO is a very real thing.
It is a very real thing, and I feel like it's what's the word it's heightened because of the media and all the algorithms and stuff like that.
It's also like, if you think about it, it's also the pandemic.
Yes.
Gaming systems and internet devices in general have just been such an important tool in trying to survive in a pandemic.
Yeah, it keeps us entertained without going out of the house.
It keeps us entertained. It keeps us connected. Like, it's amazing what we as human beings have evolved to stick to in order to maintain our sanity. It's not books anymore. It's not newspapers. It's not television. No, it's the internet. It's video games. It's streaming services. Like, dude, like, I would love to get the PS5 though, and the game I'm excited for the most for the PS5 has to be the Miles Morales extended cut. I just saw the trailer for it when it came out. And the Tinkerer is going to be featured in the game in a badass sort of way that I never would have imagined the character to be.
Is that the Tinkerer?
Yeah, it was the Tinkerer.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But Tinkerer's a girl in this one.
Exactly. And it's an interesting concept, and they made the character so much more of a badass than usual. Like in other iterations of the
Tinkerer,
yeah,
that is her. Yeah, you're right.
Like in other iterations, it's just like a side villain that no one really takes seriously. He just builds destructive toys to try to like take over things. Now here, it's so much cooler, and the powers that Miles Morales has, like the electrical production power, the invisibility power, which was hinted in the Spider-Man video game. Like, dude, I am so excited for that.
Yeah, I'm so happy it's coming to PS4 and it's not a PS5 exclusive. But like people were mad about that because Sony before this event was like, oh, there's not going to be any more cross-gen titles. Like Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima were the last like PS4 titles. But then like they just said, like most of the launch titles, like Miles Morales and like the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden Wilds, are going to be PS4 games as well. And that makes me happy because it gives gamers who do not want to exactly spend $500 right now something to tide them over and have a smooth transition into getting into the PS5. And you know, and then when they do get the PS5, they'll just upgrade to the PS5 versions of those games.
You know, c.bo, you were talking about nostalgia and about like you thinking back to when like social media was first coming out and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember when when PS3 first came out or the PS4? And like, do you remember what your attitude was when that happened and like how you felt?
Well, the PS3 that came out. PS3 and like Wii and the 360 were like around the same time, and like I remember, I was a lover of the GameCube, and I'm like, oh, I just wanted a Wii. But after a couple of years with the Wii, I'm like, I did like the Wii, but it didn't have the games I exactly wanted at that time, and I'm like, all right, I need to get another system. So I went for the 360 because I when I went to other people's friends' house and stuff like that, I saw like Halo and Gears of War in action. I'm like, holy shit, these are the games I need to play, and I don't regret it because I had some of my best game memories ever are from that 360 generation, and the PS3 to me was just like, okay, it's just something extra. But then I realized like, oh, Sony exclusives are fucking quality once the PS4 came out because I had all the Spider-Mans, the Uncharted, the Last of Us, the Infamous, yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, Xbox just dropped the ball with the Xbox One. I did love I always loved the 360. I still have my 360 in the living room. There's some games I would go back to, but it's like the Xbox One is, yeah, it dropped the ball. It's just really weren't that many exclusives, and all I could play were like the third party stuff, like and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna get PS4, and I don't regret that either. And now I'm a Sony stan, and I cannot wait to get the PS5.
For me, my favorite
Force, brother.
Yeah.
Pedro, what's your favorite console memory?
When I played Assassin's Creed 2 on the PS4 for the first time.
That came out for the PS3 though.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, PS3. My bad. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And are you gonna elaborate on that, Pedro, or what?
That was my first real in-depth experience on rated M game I ever played by myself. I didn't have you to play for me, and I just played it by myself. It was the first real video game I ever deeply got into. I mean, sure, there was Pokemon and stuff, but with this game, I felt like a real gamer playing it. You know?
Yeah, that's how I felt during the 360. A lot of games that I like fell in love with were like a lot of firsts for me. Like Assassin's Creed 2, when that came out, it was mind blowing, dude. Especially compared to that to the first game too. Like, did you guys play the first game?
Yes.
That game was just like that game felt like a prologue, like prototype type of game. It's like there's some cool concepts in there, but it's not quite exactly where it needs to be because of the technology at that time. But just like 2 years later, they fully realized their vision with Assassin's Creed 2 and like how it recreates Italy. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I still think about that game like all the time when I'm like thinking of Italy. I'm like, when I was in Florence, like, yeah, it was great. But yeah, I agree with you, Pedro. Like, I feel like I became like a real gamer during that generation. I'm like, yeah, such good memories.
For me, guys, it would have to be 2005 when Pedro and I got the Sly Cooper 2 video game for the PS2. That was when I realized, how important the PlayStation was in my life, because it bonded Pedro and me in an activity that we could both enjoy and exclusive to ourselves, because we would always like argue over who could be who or who could play. And then when Sly Cooper came out and I could play as Sly Cooper and I could play as Bentley, like it was just like we finally had that co-tandem of enjoyment that we've been able to turn into such a brotherly connection to video games in today's day and age. And the PS3 heightened that experience even more, because we got the chance to like play other games that we could make co-op ourselves. Sly Cooper, Assassin's Creed, and a bunch of other stuff. And the PlayStation has a warm place in my heart, And as much as I'd love to get the PS5 instantly just to like get that feeling of nostalgia to come back again, I have to agree with like what Jack, what c.bo, and what Pedro have in mind. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, hopefully I really hope a slim version is sooner rather than later, but I feel like it's 2 years out, and I'm like, God, because I know if I get it next year, the year after that, there's gonna be a slim version with more memory, and it's just more slim, and I'm just like, ah. But
And
hopefully,
besides,
yeah,
why replace what isn't broken?
yeah. But PlayStation always releases a slim version of their system, so it's like because I have a PS4 Slim right now, and it's so nice, and it has 1 TB of memory, and I'm like like yeah, it's great. But
How long would it take for the slim version to come out?
I say it's probably 2 years out, unfortunately. And God of War, the sequel to God of War comes out, and that game, ooh, yeah, I can buy a system for that game.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm more of a watcher for God of War. I like watching people play.
You guys should play it. That's a meaty game to get into.
Yeah, I've seen
like
every God of War game, and I want to play them, but it's just too much work.
So go ahead, Juan. Sorry.
Isn't there a pack that sells all 3 games?
Yeah, I think for the PS3 though.
I'm sure they adapted it for PS4 as well.
Yeah, but Sony's weird. Like once they move on from a system, they have like no nostalgia for the system whatsoever. Like they don't really like to go back, They only keep moving forward. And for some that's good, they keep moving the industry forward. But at the same time, it's like, be a little like Nintendo. Go back to your roots a little bit,
Absolutely.
Yeah. But so all of us are gonna wait for a PS5. So yeah. Look. When people were getting the PS5, I was tempted to be like, oh, maybe I should get it. But maybe I should get it. But as soon as I found out Miles Morales is coming for PS4, I'm like, yeah, I don't need it.
For me, it's like my PS3 has been surviving my PS4, excuse me, has been surviving for so long. It still works. It's still beautiful. I love you, baby. But like, I don't need a new system in my life just yet. I'm gonna wait until like maybe the PS4 and I have a falling out. Maybe it said something about my jersey collection that I wouldn't like, and then we'll argue about it. And I'll cheat with another system, and then ultimately we'll move on when I find a new system to fall in love with.
That was very specific. So all right, I guess we're excited, but we're not gonna get it. It comes out November 12th, yes. And the Xbox Series X comes out November 10th. So that's another. Isn't that crazy? 2 years apart, not 2 years, 2 days apart. That new systems are coming out, and election week's the week before. No, and like it's just insane.
I think that's the purpose. It's like I'm trying to think of the best analysis. It's like when J. Cole dropped an album 2 days before Kanye dropped an album.
Yeah.
In 2014, I think it was. And it caused like all some sort of it started a lot of beef between the two at the beginning. So with Sony and Microsoft trying to push those products out against each other, it's going to create one hell of a market debate for both systems, and I'm going to be interested to see who comes out the victor.
Yeah, definitely. All right, before we go on to our football talk, we're gonna decide our next movie, and I do have a suggestion. So 2 weeks ago we saw the awful Last Airbender, the truly awful, and this one, and this week we saw the Social Dilemma, which is a very heavy documentary that made us really think. And for this week, I kind of want to go for a more fun route, and I was thinking of the new Netflix movie with the actress of 11 playing the sister of Sherlock Holmes. And Henry Cavill is Sherlock Holmes, and that looks fun, and I want to watch it. Yeah, that'd be a fun watch. What? It's called Enola Holmes.
Enola, yeah, backwards for alone. Yeah. I'm down for that.
What about you, Pedro?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah. All right, cool. Enola. Sorry, go.
Henry Cavill is Sherlock Holmes. That's gonna be weird because all I ever see him is as Superman.
You want to know what's weird? Helen Bonham Carter is his mom.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
All right,
All right.
cool. This will be our last non-horror movie before we get into horror month, Juan.
I hate it so much.
But one of the October movies will be that new Adam Sandler Halloween movie, so it'll be a palate cleanser for you.
Thank God. I don't think I can. I need to sleep, guys.
Yeah.
All right. When I saw The Witch, I couldn't sleep. The mirror in my room, I had to cover up with a shroud because I kept thinking someone was gonna come out of it.
What's that goat's name?
Black Phillip.
Black Phillip was coming for you.
Shut up! I don't want to. No.
You want to live deliciously.
You people are the reason why I have insomnia.
Well, Adam Sandler will make you sleep fine.
That'll be for the first week. Then the rest of the month.
I think it comes out mid-October, so we'd have to wait for that. But yeah.
People suck.
Yeah. All right, cool. So now we're on to our football talk. And I guess me and Juan are just going to mourn over New York football and how just garbage it is.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Go!
Go Pack. Yeah, you know what? Good for the Packers. Hopefully they go far.
I do not hate on any team. I hate 4 teams, though. I will admit that I do have disdain in my heart for 4 teams.
What 4 teams?
The Patriots.
Of course, you're a Jets fan.
The Seahawks.
Really?
Mainly because of Richard Sherman, but also now because of Jamal Adams.
Ah, okay, because he's from okay. And who else?
The Steelers.
Okay.
And the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
So I want to preface that, but you know what team I hate the most? My own team, the New York Jets. Do you know what it's like to be a self-hating fan of your own squad? Do you know what it's like to actively avoid watching your own team play because you don't want to see how embarrassing it is?
Have you been talking to Cleveland Brown fans again?
How do you let them convert? Like the Jets played against the 49ers at MetLife. How did you let them convert a 3rd and 31? By letting the running back go for 51 yards. How is that even possible? Someone explain. Because I am befuddled. I am outraged. I have never been angrier as a Jets fan than I am right
now. Man. So, all right. So if you're in charge of the Jets, what's the thing that needs to happen first?
I fire Adam Gase, the head coach. He has to go. All right. First off, how do you limit your franchise quarterback from calling audibles in the pocket when he could easily read a situation better than you can, apparently? Why are you obsessed with Frank Gore, who's 37 years old and doesn't really seem like he can have that breakaway hard-hitting speed that he used to when he was in his early 30s? Why do you insist on short passing on short passing calls like screen passes and dump offs when you can easily throw it down the field with the speedy wide receiver core that you have with Rashad Perriman and Denzel Mims? Oh wait, they're all injured because you don't know how to manage a fucking roster.
Well, to be fair, a lot of players are injured, and I guess I'll go into the Giants where Saquon Barkley is out for the season, and that's just sad, man.
Yeah.
Like if you're a football fan, that's just a big loss. Like losing Saquon Barkley, one of the best talents, one of the best running backs in the league, just to a whole year. It's just a big, and like a lot of the Giants got injured that game too, and it was just like, god damn, man. Like not even just the Giants and the Jets, but like so many people, and like Christian McCaffrey, like other players also. It's just like this shoring there's no preseason, just like screwed a lot of players over, and it's just like I feel like the season's just a battle of attrition now. Like whoever can just not be the most injured will win the Super Bowl. I feel like.
Yeah, I have no hopes for the 49ers then.
The Niners, like, do you know how many season-ending injuries that have occurred in the last 2 weeks?
A lot.
Over 20.
That's a lot.
It was a bloodbath.
Like, and a lot of them are like major star players. Saquon Barkley, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, Anthony Barr. like a lot of like major players and big factors on respective teams are gone because like first off, you need a preseason.
Yeah.
Like the elimination of the preseason, it was commendable by the NFL to help avoid any more spread of the disease, but that preseason is a blessing and a curse because the blessing being that it prepares players' bodies for the hard hits and plays that they're going to be enduring for the next 16 weeks.
It eases them into it, yes.
Exactly. And now that it's gone,
and they just got straight into the hard hitting season.
It's like the old Kevin Hart meme. He wasn't ready. They weren't ready. No, they're not ready. They were not ready for this amount of contact and physicality. All right, training camp doesn't permit that type of physicality, so you're not really fully prepared for it. So they had no clue what they were in for, and all the star players, all the people that people picked on fantasy, they're gone. All right, they're gone.
Yeah, pray for Jack's fantasy team.
Yeah, you gotta pray for my team. I lost Mike Thomas and Saquon Barkley. So like,
yeah.
Here's so then I posed a query here. All of the people that have been getting injured for the most part have been non-QBs, linebackers, running backs, high contact players, Do you think we're going to see a quarterback get injured like season ending before like is there going to be a QB that suffers a season ending injury? Because so far the only major name QB that's injured, well two of them is Drew Lock for the Denver Broncos who has an AC sprain in his shoulder, and Jimmy Garoppolo who suffered a high ankle sprain against the Jets, who's going to be out a couple of weeks. It's like those are like relatively minor injuries, but that's only a matter of time before we lose a megastar.
I don't want to see it. I don't think any fan wants to see it, but it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And and whenever it does happen, it's just gonna suck. And it's just like, it's like I said, this season is gonna be a battle of stamina and attrition. Just like whoever can just last the longest is gonna win. It's gonna win this. Yeah, it's gonna win the season.
How was the backup quarterback situation for the Giants?
Backup quarter. Well, Daniel Jones is still good. I mean,
what if he gets hurt? Who do you have a backup?
Probably me. I mean, probably me or you, Juan. Like that. Those are the backups.
No, I'll be Sam Donald's backup.
Okay. Or maybe Pedro. Yeah.
Pedro, you're the thinnest of all of us. Okay.
Yeah, you're replacing Daniel Jones.
Yay, Pedro! You get to be Giants QB.
Yeah.
Oh, great! So I get to make them suck even more.
Or just keep targeting Evan Ingram on every play. I need the points, damn it!
Evan Ingram's on my team too. Actually.
What?
Evan Ingram is on my team, but luckily, like Kyler and like Dalvin Cook and like Josh Allen have been giving me so many points that like Evan Ingram's like I'm benching
Ingram this week.
Okay.
I'm putting Noah Fanton in this place.
Okay.
But I don't know if I should bring Ingram back, mainly because like they're playing against the Falcons this week.
Yeah. But it's this past Sunday sucked with injuries, and yeah, hopefully there aren't any too many more. So what are you about to say, Pedro? Sorry.
Pablo is worried about the Giants to get the Falcons, right? But who says facing the Falcons?
The Giants are playing the Falcons. So I'm predicting that Evan Ingram actually has a good game against a secondary that literally allowed Dallas to have the worst comeback.
That's insane.
That's an embarrassment to the Falcons, but history for the Cowboys.
Yeah, just Georgia sports in general, man. Just pray for them.
So, like I was gonna say, if they're gonna perform anything like they did against the Cowboys, maybe the Giants have a chance.
So, speaking of like what to expect for next week, I kind of got into the FanDuel Sportsbook app, and I'm like, what are some bets to look out for, Juan?
I'm not really a bettor. But
like, what's a dark horse team that could win? Like, that's not supposed to win.
let me check the schedule. In the meantime, why don't you enlighten the fans at home what exactly FanDuel Sportsbook is?
Well, it's just a betting app where you can bet on games and stuff. And if you're in New Jersey, it's totally legal.
Oh my
Hear
God.
that?
Yeah.
And I'm not a bettor. I've never really been a bettor in my life. But, if you wanted to really pick a game, man, you can't go wrong with next Monday's matchup. It's the Ravens against the
That's a scary game, though, because I feel like any one of those teams could win to bet on.
So, like, so where's the money going?
I was listening to a podcast. Apparently, it's the Ravens are favorite to win that game.
They are because they have the better defense. But Patty Mahomes, man, did you see what he pulled off against the Chargers?
Yeah. The Chiefs were just playing not that great the whole game. They were kind of just like asleep, and like 2 great plays, and they win the game. Like that's how good the Chiefs are. They could kind of just be asleep the whole game, and a couple plays later, well, they're on top again.
Honestly, man, if you have Patrick Mahomes on your team, anything's possible. Especially now with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Which, fun fact, his name got misspelled on his jersey this week. They spelled his last name wrong. I was just laughing my ass off with my brother about it. Like, I've never in my life seen a team misspell a star player's jersey. I was just like, you could spell Gronkowski, Goskowski, Tua Tagovailoa. Like, you can spell all that, but you can't spell Hilaire. Like, wow. If you want, like, also,
so go ahead, Ron. Sorry.
If you want an underdog to bet on, take Cincinnati over the Eagles.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'll take a note of that. And now I was just about to say, like, yeah, I'm really mad that that game's on Monday because I go into work that night and I'm like, I can't watch the whole thing because I know that Ravens Chiefs game is probably gonna be insane.
I'll be live tweeting it the whole time, so have your alerts on.
Yeah, I'll probably listen to ESPN radio on the app, so I should be good. All right, so I believe this is the end of our podcast. Unless any of you have any hot takes that you guys have been holding on to.
Adam,
Ask a question to Chris. I asked Pablo, and he says my chances are good, so I'm going to ask you. What are the odds of me against Drew Brees on Sunday?
Packers against the Saints?
Yeah.
Probably Packers.
Okay.
Drew Brees is a shell of his former self. And the Packers defense really stepped up against the Detroit Lions last week. So
yeah, I see the Saints struggling, especially with the loss of Michael Thomas. Yes.
This is good. There's gonna be a good game then.
Yeah, I feel like the Packers are gonna have a good season. They always most of the time they have a good season, and I would like to see them in the Super Bowl again. And I know probably you would like to see that even more.
I would like to see it only if Patrick Mahomes is the other person on the other side.
Oh my God, that's just oof. Yes, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
The new versus the old.
Yeah, official changing of the guard. Let's go.
All right. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. We'll be back next week to talk about Enola Holmes and other good stuff, crazy stuff that happens.
All right.
Thanks for having me. And can't wait to watch Enola Holmes, and bro, like, can't wait for the Jets to actually try to pull off a win against the Colts next week.
Who should I bet against for that game? Who should I bet for?
The Colts, man.
Well, but if the Jets win, I win a lot of money, though.
Bet the Colts.
Hopefully, I win some money next week because I'll put like $20 down for a big parlay.
If you want, you can take Jacksonville over Miami.
Okay. All right. I'll note that. Yes.
Sure.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
You never see it coming. You be dinner and person right. God,